All right, so there's this popular term that I hear people using all the time. Usually I hear it in the spaces where people have goals, and they have this at the top of the goals list, and they quickly say this term, this phrase. And I personally think that for most people, they really don't understand what they're saying when they say this term. And I think even less people have a plan to achieve this term. I think it's just one of those terms that people say because they think they want, or they think other people want to hear what they're saying. They want to hear this type of term, right? So I won't delay any longer. What term am I talking about it? You've heard it before. It's called generational wealth. Building generational wealth. Everybody talks about that. Everybody says that, right? But what does that really mean? What does it mean to build generational wealth? What does that look like? And then, how do you do it? It's easy to throw these terms around, but what is it and how do you do it? If you ask that question to someone who said they wanted to build generational wealth, it's very likely they wouldn't have a good picture of what generational wealth is, and definitely not a plan to achieve it. Most people say they want to make a lot of money. When I ask them, what does generational wealth look like? What is it to you? I want to make a lot of money and pass it on to my children or my grandchildren. And I think that's honorable. That's a really good thing to do. But most people are not going to make a whole lot of money and then pass that on to another generation. So what is the more realistic approach? How do you really achieve this as an average person? Well, I think it's something that we have to start planning for now. You can't wait until your child gets 21 years old and then say, I want to give them something, because you probably won't have much to give them. But if you start when they are 1 year old and start putting away little bits and little bits and little bits into compound interest accounts, very simple accounts, that's not a big term that you should be afraid of. This is a very simple account. Then you can start building that wealth for the child. And when they get 21, you have something to give them to help them on their wealth building journey. Because for me, how I see it, I am not trying to make them rich. I am trying to give them something to help them on their journey. You keep building wealth, but here is a injection. Here is something that gives you a place to start. You're not starting at zero. You have a bit of an advantage. If you can give them an advantage in this world, why not give them that advantage? Especially when it comes to wealth building. Now, many people build it without an advantage. So it's not something that you need, but it's certainly good to have. So I would like to provide that to my grandchildren, right? So how do you do it? Well, let's build a bridge to it. There's something called a UTMA account and a UGMA account, right? The UGMA is a Uniform Gift to Minors Act, and the UTMA is a Uniform Transfer to Minors Act. I open up the UTMA account, right? And what it does, it allows me to save money now. When your grandchildren are young, at 1 year old or 4 year olds, you get to save money in an account in their name, but you as the custodian, right? So it's a custodial account. I'm over that account, and I have to transfer the account to the minor when that minor turns 21 years old. Now, it doesn't matter whether they are ready to receive that money or not. You have to transfer that money at 21. So it just makes sense. It passes the common sense test all day long. To not just pass them some money when they turn 21 years old, because what will they do with it? Spend it. That's what they'll do with it. They'll squander it more than likely. So we have to not only give them money, but we have to also provide them with knowledge. Start to teach our youngsters when they're young about money, how to handle and save and invest money, right? That's what we have to be talking about. Otherwise, they'll get that money and spend it. But if they are in touch and understand, maybe they might spend some of it, but they also may take that money and start to build wealth. Keep building the wealth that you've helped them to get started. Wouldn't that be a great way to get started with a little bit of an advantage? I think so. So if you want to do something like that, you probably would want to reach out to your CPA first or your tax professional first and let them guide you into how or which account you should set up, which one is better for you. Then you could probably go through a brokerage like Vanguard. That's where I went through to get that account set up. Okay? So make sure that if you really want to build wealth and you really want to build generational wealth, that you actually have a plan to do it. You have a practical way of achieving it, right? Because I think that way that I just explained with the UTMA account is a way that a regular person can leave an inheritance, right? A regular person, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, right? So a regular person doesn't have to be a person that makes a whole lot of money. Doesn't have to be a person that has, have the big business and making millions and millions of dollars. It can be a regular person, and you can start taking small amounts of money, putting them into those compounding interest accounts and start to take advantage of that. Now, here's the thing. Is it guaranteed that there's going to be X amount of dollars, big amounts of money at the end of the rainbow? No, it's not guaranteed. Nothing in life is guaranteed. But there has been a track record established for investing in the stock market over long periods of time. So at least have something you're doing to say you're trying to achieve it, right? And I think investing in the stock market, investing in a custodial where a UGMA account or a UTMA account where you are the custodian of that account, and you will possibly have something, very likely a nice nest egg to pass on to your children or your grandchildren. I think that just makes sense in my opinion. It makes good common financial sense, right? But of course, it's not guaranteed. Nothing in life is guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that you and I are going to wake up tomorrow morning. But hopefully, prayerfully, we'll have another chance at it. And we want to do as much as we can right now with the time that we have. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Take a look at those UTMA account, the UGMA account, and consider it for yourself. Consider it as an option to be able to provide something to your children or your children's children when that time comes. I hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great rest of your week. As always, I'll see you at the very top of the mountain. We got to struggle, we got to strive, and we got to keep striving to get there. But I know you. You want to get there. You desire to get there. And you'll put in the work to get there. I'll see you at the very top, because the bottom is much too crowded.